her testimony won't even count. And that is that's a harsh reality, because if the jury chooses not to listen to anything she has to say, she's the best witness in this case.
Blake Lively just got exposed in the most jaw-dropping way possible, and it's not simply about a bad movie role or some petty Hollywood feud. Oh no, we're talking full-blown, behind-closed-doors scandal, one that could destroy her reputation and possibly sink her career for good.
Juries don't like liars. Trials are about credibility.
The latest rumors suggest she was caught red-handed, attempting to bribe judges in a high-stakes legal battle, all to keep certain damning evidence under wraps. Yes, you heard that right.
If they find that she just was dishonest and lied on one single point of evidence, in this case, in her testimony, the jury instruction says that they are allowed to discount her entire testimony.
According to multiple insiders, the same Blake Lively who once graced every A-list red carpet is now allegedly pulling sneaky moves in the courtroom. The question is, how did we get here? And more importantly, how far is she willing to go to keep her secrets hidden?
It seems insurmountable. It seems like this case cannot be settled.
Hollywood might pretend it's all glitz and glamour, but the truth is often far darker. And the deeper you dig into Blake's alleged misconduct, the more it starts looking like a frantic cover-up, one that involves hush money, sealed documents, and hush-hush deals nobody was ever supposed to find out about. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the biggest meltdown of Blake Lively's entire career. By the end, you'll be wondering whether this once America's sweetheart has been living a double life, orchestrating manipulative stunts, and possibly crossing serious legal lines just to protect her precious image.
Her testimony won't even count. And that is that's a harsh reality, because if the jury chooses not to listen to anything she has to say, she's the best witness in this case.
Buckle up, because this story is about to get explosive. Not too long ago, headlines erupted over a lawsuit involving Blake Lively and actor-director Justin Baldoni, two names you wouldn't normally imagine in a vicious legal war.
Trials are about the truth, and juries want the truth, and if you lie to them, they will hold it against you.
At first glance, the scenario seemed so simple. Blake claims wrongdoing, possibly some on-set drama, and Baldoni refutes it, calling the accusations fabricated. But what started as a typical he said, she said, quickly evolved into a monstrous media circus. The mainstream press, particularly major outlets hungry for a scandal, jumped on Lively's story. Why? She was painting herself as the victim, allegedly forced into disturbing or uncomfortable situations on set.
And that's why you think, like you mentioned before, that you think this video is the most damning evidence that Baldoni has so far.
I think so. And it's better than words.
The public was quick to rally around her until cracks began showing in her narrative. Suddenly, leaked footage contradicted her claims. Legal analysts noted that her evidence didn't hold up under scrutiny. The entire saga spiraled into a meltdown of credibility. That's when rumors of a bigger conspiracy started circulating.
Number two, the SH has nothing to do with taking over the movie, even though she doesn't deny that she took over the movie. Of course, it'd be probably impossible to do that.
If Blake's claims were falling apart, why did so many outlets keep running with them? Was it possible her PR team had launched an all-out disinformation campaign, feeding tabloids and even respectable papers the poor Blake narrative? As each day passed, it became clearer that the lawsuit wasn't just a legal matter. It was a full-blown Hollywood power play. And that's exactly where the whispers about bribing judges and burying evidence started to gain traction.
Okay, so I was able to read the amended complaint, which, by the way, it's very abnormal. It's almost 180 pages, 400 and some odd paragraphs. Complaints are not normally that long, but this one has to be for public consumption.
When the lawsuit first broke, Blake Lively claimed she had receipts, videos, photos, and testimonies that would prove her case beyond doubt. But as soon as people started fact-checking, a bizarre pattern emerged. The evidence she flaunted didn't match the actual context once the full materials were released. A supposedly incriminating dance scene turned out to show Blake willingly participating, laughing, and clearly unbothered.
And that's why you think, like you mentioned before, that you think this video is the most damning evidence that Baldoni has so far.
I think so. And it's better than...
Then something even stranger happened. Blake's team filed an amended complaint. Now, it's normal in lawsuits to amend details if new information arises, but her update wasn't just a minor tweak. It ballooned into a whopping 180-plus pages. To put that in perspective, many lawsuits dealing with serious criminal allegations don't even come close to that length. Observers began describing it as a fan fiction or PR manifesto disguised as a legal filing, chock full of repetitive accusations, emotional appeals, and lofty claims, but suspiciously short on verifiable facts.
So it kind of makes them look like they're trying to take that video now that it's out and kind of spin it in a different direction.
Behind the scenes, people started whispering that Blake's real game wasn't to win in court, but rather to shape public opinion. Flooding the lawsuit with sensational language would create headlines. And while social media was momentarily dazzled by the spectacle, legal experts warned, if even one part of this is proven false, a judge can instruct the jury to disregard everything she says. In other words, her entire crusade risked being thrown out if a single lie was confirmed.
Blake Lively had changed some stuff up in her amended complaint. Now she is describing that dancing scene very differently than she did in her first complaint.
That's when the panic, according to some insiders, really set in. In a move that seemed ripped from a Hollywood thriller, Blake's legal team demanded an attorney's eyes only AEO order. For those unfamiliar, AEO protection means that only the attorneys, not even the parties themselves, can see certain documents. It's usually invoked for highly sensitive trade secrets. Think multi-billion-dollar tech companies trying to protect proprietary research. So why would a celebrity actress need that level of secrecy for a personal lawsuit?
Blake Lively made, and she lied in their minds about what occurred during that dancing scene because she wasn't aware that there was audio that would maybe explain and give some context to what was happening there. So of course she changes her in her amended complaint. She changes the view of it a little bit.
Sources close to the situation dropped a bombshell. Apparently, there are 100 million reasons why Blake's side wants to hide key documents and messages. The speculation is that a massive sum of money is involved, possibly in the form of bribes or hush money to ensure that certain evidence never sees the light of day. As the rumor mill churned, people started asking, is Blake trying to outright buy her way out of losing this case? Judge Lyman, overseeing the matter, expressed open frustration, referring to the lawsuit as more of a PR war than a legitimate legal dispute.
They did is they said, well, yes, all of that happened, but when Baldoni was in that scene dancing, he wasn't in character, and she was being forced to act as though she loved him, which is, in my mind, just acting.
He reminded Blake's team that the courts are a matter of public record and that wealthy celebrities don't get special treatment just because negative press might harm their brand. The entire AEO push backfired in dramatic fashion. Instead of looking prudent, it looked like she had something truly incriminating to hide. Something so damning, she was supposedly willing to risk accusations of judicial bribery just to bury it. While all this was unfolding, Blake's public relations machine kicked into overdrive. Suddenly, leaked secret witnesses emerged. Two unnamed actresses supposedly lining up to accuse Justin Baldoni of troubling on-set behavior.
Two new women who were willing to testify against Baldoni that they have been allegedly felt uncomfortable on set, but they didn't name them. But now it's already kind of leaked who they are.
But here's the kicker. Their names never appeared in the official legal filings. Instead, these so-called witnesses were teased in articles by The Hollywood Reporter, fueling speculation that their existence was more smoke and mirrors than actual substance. Not only that, but certain media outlets refused to run with these accusations, citing a lack of credibility or verifiable proof.
And so it's not just a lawsuit, it's a PR campaign. The fact that they didn't include the names, in my mind when I was reading it, made it felt like it wasn't real or it wasn't very credible.
It got to the point where social media was mocking the story, questioning if it was an elaborate hoax to manipulate the court of public opinion. Even more absurd, another rumor claimed Baldoni was too nice on set, accusing him of toxic positivity, as if that alone could be considered a legitimate form of misconduct.
This is insane. What are you talking about? She genuinely is not aware of how insane she sounds.
Observers were baffled. How do you go from calling someone a predator to branding them a problem because they're too happy? It reeked of desperation. With every new exclusive leak, Blake Lively's credibility took another hit. Instead of painting Justin Baldoni as a villain, these moves started painting Blake as a malicious orchestrator of a smear campaign. And the public? They were getting more suspicious by the minute, sensing that something bigger and more nefarious was at play behind all these frantic accusations.
Team Blake Lively may think they have the upper hand. Sources say she has no idea what's coming regarding her battle with Justin Baldoni.
As Blake's scandal exploded in the headlines, her husband, Ryan Reynolds, emerged from the shadows, or so the rumors suggest. Ryan isn't just a well-known actor. He's also a powerful Hollywood player with deep industry ties. According to a few insiders, he was pulling strings quietly.
Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, they need to listen to their lawyers, and they need to resolve this case if possible,
leaning on influential connections to minimize the damage. But what raised the biggest eyebrows were whispers that they had enlisted former intelligence operatives, ex-CIA agents, to manage crisis PR. Now, on the surface, that sounds like a wild conspiracy. But Hollywood is no stranger to employing ex-intelligence professionals, especially when money and reputations are on the line.
Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds have hired former CIA agents with a proven track record of lying to the public, gaslighting the public.
These experts specialize in damage control, narrative shaping, and occasionally burying stories that could tank a star's entire career. Suddenly, the idea of bribing judges and officials doesn't seem as far-fetched when you consider who might be orchestrating the defense. The question became, what was in those hidden messages and documents that warranted this level of secrecy? If the story was simply that Blake felt uncomfortable on set, you wouldn't hire a small army of PR assassins to squash it. Speculation is rampant that these texts might implicate not just Blake, but other high-profile celebrities, and possibly reveal unethical, if not downright illegal, efforts to manipulate the judicial process.
Because not only could it be not good for the legal case, it's going to be an absolute nightmare for the PR side. And so I think the sooner that they can kind of figure out a path out of this, the better.
People often assume celebrities get away with anything in court. They have expensive lawyers, star power, and fans who defend them blindly. But guess what? Judges and jurors don't always play by Hollywood's rules. In this case, Judge Lyman made it clear he wasn't about to let anyone rewrite the law just because they're rich and famous. And the single biggest threat to Blake Lively's case? Her own credibility.
That's insane and that's crazy. And this is a reason why I think in the future people are just not going to work with her, because it's starting to add up. People are realizing that this is a pathology.
Under U.S. law, if a witness is caught lying about any key piece of evidence, a judge can instruct the jury to disregard that witness's entire testimony. That means it only takes one confirmed lie to dismantle an entire case. Blake, by allegedly changing her story multiple times, especially regarding the infamous dance video, put herself in a precarious position. Legal analysts pointed out that if a single detail of her narrative is proven false, the rest of her allegations could crumble.
If they find that she just was dishonest and lied on one single point of evidence in this case, in her testimony, the jury instruction says that they are allowed to discount her entire testimony.
And things got worse when Blake began contradicting herself about what exactly happened on set. First, it was an uncomfortable, forced scene. Then it was, he wasn't in character. And then, she was made to pretend she liked him. It was as if she was rewriting the script every time new evidence emerged. The court caught on, labeling the entire process a media stunt, essentially telling the world that Lively's claims might be more about generating shock value in tabloids than seeking justice.
I mean, it is weird how dumb they think the public is. Like, what do you mean? Why on earth would you be allowed to see every single message that someone has sent for 2.5 years, predating?
Just when you think it can't get any messier, the Taylor Swift angle slithers into the story. Blake is known for her close friendship with Swift, and suddenly, there's talk of subpoenas involving messages or communications that might mention the lawsuit. Fans went wild with theories. Could Taylor have text messages that reveal the truth behind Blake's alleged bribery or manipulation tactics? According to some sources, these subpoenas are the real reason Blake Lively's team demanded the extreme AEO order. If they're forced to disclose private conversations that incriminate not only Blake, but possibly other A-listers in orchestrating a giant smear campaign, the fallout could be catastrophic. Hollywood thrives on secrecy and mutual backscratching. If this lawsuit drags other superstars into the fray, you're looking at a potential meltdown that could shake the very foundations of the industry.
They're PR agents. What are you talking about? You're just looking for stuff so you can embarrass them, so you can know things about them. I would never in a million years be like, yeah, you can subpoena every single text message that I have with my sisters and my friends.
Now, add to that the rumors that Blake and Ryan might have quietly funneled money to keep these texts and emails out of the public eye. If that's even partly true, we're talking about more than just a hush-hush settlement. We're talking about an entire network of powerful elites banding together to shut down any legal revelation that could expose how celebrity justice really works. The question remains, will the judge cave to Hollywood pressure, or will he force these communications into the public domain?
There's depositions, and she would have a videotape deposition, and we think that that would be horrible for her to actually appear for a videotape deposition in this case, meaning she has to hopefully resolve this case before then.
After all the bribes, sealed documents, ex-CIA PR spin, and contradictory testimony, one thing is clear. Blake Lively's once spotless reputation is now hanging by a thread. Judges can smell desperation a mile away, and nothing screams desperation more than a star actress trying to buy her way out of legal trouble. We're at a turning point where even the mainstream media, initially sympathetic to Blake, has begun questioning her motives and the authenticity of her ever-changing claims. Legal experts say the next phases of this lawsuit could be crucial. If the courts deny her request for attorney's eyes-only protection, those hidden messages and documents might go public, potentially exposing the full scope of her alleged manipulation. If that happens, she might have no choice but to rush to a settlement, just to avoid a catastrophic deposition where she could be caught lying under oath. And in the court of public opinion, Lively is already losing ground every day. Remember, Hollywood might close ranks to protect its own, especially with someone like Ryan Reynolds in the mix. But the question is whether this mess is now too big for even Hollywood's top fixers to contain. Have Blake and her team done irreparable damage to her credibility? Or can they still pull off a last-minute miracle by burying the truth under piles of money and PR spin? That's the billion-dollar question swirling through every entertainment gossip channel right now. Where does this leave us? On the brink of a potential reckoning, one where Blake Lively might actually have to face real consequences. Gone are the days when a well-placed headline or a sugary sweet talk show appearance could wash away scandal. We're looking at a labyrinth of legalities, alleged bribery, hush money, and possible top-level manipulations that even a team of ex-CIA spin doctors can't easily fix. So, dear viewers, buckle up, because this story isn't over. The gavel is about to come down hard. Will Blake Lively's carefully curated public persona be completely shredded by her own reckless attempts to manipulate the system? Will her alleged bribery scheme become the biggest celebrity downfall in recent memory? Or will she, Ryan Reynolds, and the Hollywood machine somehow manage to defy all odds and pull another glamorous disappearing act on the truth? Sound off below with your thoughts. Is this the end for Blake Lively's career? Or just another Hollywood scandal that'll quietly fade away once the next big story hits the tabloids? Could these legal fireworks explode into something bigger? Maybe even dragging in other A-listers who have skeletons in their closets. Whatever happens next, one thing is for sure. This fiasco has proven that no matter how carefully celebs craft their image, the truth has a way of coming out. And sometimes it's so explosive, not even a top-billing star can handle the fallout. The court of public opinion is already buzzing, and the official court might soon have the last word. Blake Lively wanted to be seen as a victim, but if these allegations about bribing judges and hiding evidence are true, she might go down in history as one of the most shameless manipulators Tinseltown has ever produced. At this point, her downfall seems almost inevitable, unless she manages to pull off one last miraculous PR twist. Until then, keep your eyes glued to the next round of legal filings, leaks, and tabloid revelations. In Hollywood, secrets rarely stay secret forever, especially when hundreds of millions of dollars, powerful PR firms, and entire careers are on the line. We're just getting started, folks. This story could reshape how we view celebrity accountability for years to come. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned, because the final verdict on Blake Lively's darkest chapter has yet to be written. Who knows? This entire lawsuit might end up setting a landmark precedent, proving once and for all that no amount of money can silence the truth. Or maybe it'll show us that in the glitzy world of Hollywood, money still talks and can shut down even the most explosive revelations. What do you think? Let the conversation begin.